I should cuff it.
I just think she bugging.
Always think I'm bluffing.
I can't tell her nothing.
She don't wanna trust shit.
I can't tell her nothing.
She don't wanna trust shit.
Always think I'm bluffing. So I tell her kumbaya. I don't wanna ruin my day. So I tell her kumbaya. I don't wanna ruin my day. Ooh, I don't wanna ruin my day. I don't wanna ruin my day.
No motherfucker. You hear me now?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Victor. I'm here with a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Nasty.
And
Nasty Nasty.
Nasty Nasty. It's a pleasure having you here with us today. Today, here at the Crosscuts podcast, we're going to talk about the film Us. We're going to get really in depth into a lot of the themes that Jordan Peele, the director, depicted in a lot of his images and a lot of the scenes throughout the film. A lot of things that kept coming up that have, spawned a lot of different types of questions that I know a lot of people that watched the film that enjoyed it the same way I did left the movie with a lot of different questions, wondering what does this mean? What does that mean? What about the scissors and the tethered people and us? And that being said, start diving into the questions.
Alright. First question. Does US mean or stand for United States?
That is a good question. I would say that was the vibes I was getting from the film, the way that it was set up. It was kind of Jordan Peele's way of putting a mirror in front of America, like, look at yourself for its beauty, grace, and its uglies. And so I think it was.
You see any symbolisms behind it? Just the word.
Well, just the ugly truth. I think the tethered was like the truth that we hide behind the normal family.
Mm-hmm.
That the tethered is really within all of us. And it really shows more times than not, but we just don't like to talk about it, I think.
What is the tether? Like, what is you saying tether?
So the tether in the film, if you remember when they went to the vacation home, that there was the family that was like almost matching twins.
Mm-hmm.
Same family set, just, wearing with the red suits, and so everything about them was just a little bit off. Just, for whatever characteristics that each character had, what type of personality they had, tethered was the opposite, and just a little bit more on edge than the.
Did you keep using the word tether? I just don't understand, like, in layman's terms, someone who hasn't watched this movie. What other word can you use for tether?
Tether, you're gonna put me on the spot here. I'm gonna do some Google.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I can tell questions.
Tethered means tie with a rope or a chain and use in order to.
I understand what the word tether means from in this movie.
The way the movie said the family.
You're trying to explain this to someone who hasn't watched it in layman's terms.
Well, you could say the tethered, just like the definition, is controlled by almost the government. That's an idea.
You ever see tether as being, symbolism or inner thoughts?
Very well could be. Very well could be.
Connected.
I'm gonna put on some lights, brighten up. Could be.
Everything's connected. Everybody and everything's connected. Okay.
Um, like I said, I feel like the tether is. Excuse me. It's all inside all of us. It's that deep, dark guilt, sin, whatever that we're like ashamed of. It's like
Even though that stuff is still out there in regular
sometimes,
too.
but it's not.
Sometimes.
More times than not, people are ashamed of it. They're hiding it, straying away from it, and so like even like facing the ugly truth and the fears is not something that they want to do or can be comfortable doing. If you think about it, I don't know. But like I said, this film definitely brought a lot of speculation as to like what was Jordan Peele really trying to target and pinpoint with the tether.
Oh, okay.
With
That's a
us.
question. I didn't know that was a question. I asked that. That's fucking hilarious.
Well, then talk about another thing that came with the us and the two different types of families, were the ideas of the have and the have-nots.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
The have and the have-nots.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't see it like that. I didn't see it like, as if they were haves and the have-nots. I just seen it as the demons that people like try to lock away in their closets. That's what they were to me. Honestly.
So, as far as tying us back into the concept of it being the U.S., right, and now the concept of having the have-nots, do you think for a split second that, like, in a crazy world that this film was, like, symbolism of, like, with the families in the red being the have-nots one day coming together and, like it's kind of like a rebellion against the haves and going and taking what they never had, whether it's the experiences with families or going to the beach and simple things of just being normal for the sake of the movie. They wanted to take that from the normal family. Kind of like, whereas like people who are less fortunate, I wouldn't say want to take, but like America could get to that point the way it's growing apart. So, as far as
the divide's going on and all that shit.
Yeah. What do you think about that? You don't think so?
Honestly,
Because think about the privilege. Think about the privilege the family had. They're going on vacation. The kids.
that's not really privilege. That's
It
just
is though. It is.
every middle class American
Not
family.
everybody.
I feel that was the thing to do back in the day, like the 80s, 70s, 90s, in the summertime.
But the film.
Carnivals.
The film is based on like today. Like there was a point in time of the film when it dated back. It dated back to when Adelaide was a young girl,
In the 80s, and then she had her own family.
and then it was like deja vu, which was kind of crazy.
You seen the end and shit, right?
What really
You
happened,
can't really spoil that.
and that was wild.
And I had to beat that shit. First seeing that. Won't she be?
It's crazy, because for a while I was wondering like why she was off. Prior to them meeting, I felt like
She was
I know
talking.
she would talk, but she would talk like
The one who
it
was
was-
talking. She was the one talking.
but I'm still to this point. I think I have to watch the film another time because I still get confused as to like, all right, yeah, that there was a switch like when she was young, but like, did it ever go back? Because that was the part where even how Jason was watching her, the little kid, her son.
Yeah, he peeps something was up.
He knows.
He was still saying.
How much does he really know?
So, you believe we are our worst enemies?
Could be.
I believe we are.
I think the film was doing a very good job of illustrating that for us. That we very much so could be our worst enemies.
We definitely are, honestly. You even think about it, every decision we make, we telling ourselves to, act a certain way, do something a certain way, and be a certain way, and all that shit. Awesome. All that stuff. But it's like, we're human.
We are, and we learn.
We're flawed, our strength. The fact that we're human, we're flawed, our strength.
Right.
No human perfect.
And because of
We
that,
have our demons and shit. We have our demons and stuff. And those demons, like, you do try to hide them.
we do, and then facing them is
Facing them is the scariest thing you can do.
not a pleasant thing
Be real. Be real.
to do. Us had a lot of themes in there. I think Jordan Peele really does a great job of entertaining us with great film, great movies, but they all have underlying messages that make you think. Like, there's a lot that he put into this film, and the same thing that he did in his previous film, Get Out. But I have some more questions in there I want to talk about. We can cross them out as we go. That might help.
Which one was that?
Or just not even follow it.
Jeremiah 11. Did you read that Bible verse?
Can you remind the people what it is?
Yeah, I'll go to my
It's written to the right.
Jeremiah 11. Therefore, thus sought.
Say it.
Damn.
Say it. The handwriting is not that bad.
It's garbage. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring evil upon them.
End quote.
I think that's really interesting because, lucky number 1111, which on the star, or which on Make a Wish, 1111. It's funny that comes about, and then that's the Bible saying, and especially if this is the Old Testament,
Right.
it's really, there's a lot of truth in the Old Testament. Unlike the
Scary, because prior to that film, most people see 11/11, Make a Wish, or it's a good connotation with 11/11, and for the sake of the film, it was always a dark, airy, moody scene where the 11/11 would appear, and it was like, yo, what does that mean? And it got to a point where I had to grab my phone in the middle of the film and look what that meant, because it kept coming up over and over and over again. It was kind of like an omen, like something's about to happen. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you out there. It's better. Right. So, yeah, there was that too. And do you think that with that quote that kept coming up, do you think that like Jordan Peele was saying that like God, I don't want to say he's gonna punish us, but like, for the sake of the evil things that have been done on this earth, there may be consequences from a higher power. That's what you believe in. I believe in it. But
Well, for the people that don't believe in that higher power, just in the regular movie, you probably think so.
possibly. If I was watching a film with multiple demigods and things of that nature, I also would be just like
There for entertainment.
just there for entertainment, strictly that. But I think it may be something that he's saying, even with that film, because if you think about it, there's a lot of things that have occurred in our history as a country.
And conspiracies, there's a lot of conspiracies about, people who live underground. It's very, compared to just tunnels, like, all around, on the surface of these underground caverns that go across the world,
Right.
underground, a little series of tunnels. And there's just actually people living there in those tunnels.
Wow.
That's actual theory. Not theory.
Fact.
Not fact. Conspiracy.
Okay. That's what people are debating, speculating.
Yeah, speculating. Yeah. And it's like if you was to look it up, you'll see a lot of like proof.
That there's people living on there. I believe it,
But it's crazy. It's just I don't know. There's so much theory, so much conspiracies. Like I can go on.
Well, have you ever heard of the 5%ers?
Explain, huh?
So there's a saying that 85% of the world has no idea what's going on. They're just going through the motions of everything. There's 5% of the people in the world that are causing these atrocities and wrongdoings and injustices to the world. Like I said, there's 85 that don't know what's going on, 5 that's causing it, 5 who's hiding it from the 85%, putting the cloak on them. Like the government. The government's the hiding it. You want the people hiding it. The banks, private institutions that be investing in these prisons. Those are the 5% that's controlling it. Tyson's, people controlling the food and what we eat. Those are the 5% controlling it. And the remaining 5% are the 5%ers who have access to this information and this knowledge that's been kept away from the masses, and in light of that, it seeks opportunities to expose those who are aware of what's going on. And I think these kind of conspiracy type theories fall into a lot of stuff that they follow into and look into. Members of the organization consist of like Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, Carmelo Anthony, and a lot of different entertainers that I could go on. But I'm sure Jordan Peele may be a member as well too. But 5%ers. I have to get the charger before this laptop dies. But tell me more about the movie.
We can pause it.
So, and we're back here.
So, I actually want to talk about something that you don't have.
What would you like to talk about?
The rabbits.
The rabbits. Can we tell the people the significance of the rabbits?
So I don't know. What do you think is the significance of the rabbits? Because it seemed like there wasn't any significance. It was just there for show. That's what it looks like. But there's definitely deeper meaning behind it.
Because the film started with that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ended it with it. So, possibility is the cycle of life, in the sense that, like, it keeps going, but that is a part of it. I don't know. It was a weird concept that I didn't really think to.
I actually looked up rabbits and like symbolism behind them after I watched that movie, and apparently rabbits are supposed to be the gateway to the underworld, something like that, a gateway. Wow. And think about Alice in Wonderland, she went down a rabbit hole. It was like a couple of the symbolism like that. Like you see Bugs Bunny, the little what's that? Walt Disney. That's not Walt Disney. It's Looney Tunes. Yeah, the circle, the hole. The circle.
Yeah.
So,
wow. When the film started, there was something peculiar about it that threw me off. I was like, why is this bunny just here? And why?
White rabbit.
The white rabbit.
White rabbit.
The white rabbit. All right. And another thing that came up in the film that kind of confused me for a minute was this. Like I think we talked about the switch, but like I think that was the concept of the switch was where like who's the real me? Who's the real person? Who's the real that was something that I pondered about even after, where it's like which one is really who's really who? The one that's being hidden, is that the real person, or the one that's face value?
He's the one that, yeah, see, I like how he did that. It made you really, it made you think, but not really think about that girl's genuineness, like
Right,
her
'cause
genuine being her. It made you think, but not really think. It made you assume it, you know, but never really stick with it.
until that scene when they were fighting, it was the school, was it?
And yeah, it was just like a
Under
underworld place.
Yeah.
Where,
but it looked like the school, did it?
you just had it was just hallways. It was hallways.
I don't know.
What are the significance with the scissors?
The scissors. There was a concept in the film that Jordan Peele brought up, that Hands Across America. I believe that was like a campaign in the '80s that they did. That they try to raise money for underprivileged people. But the scissors, I think, was a reference to that, but also as far as the bridge between the have and the have-nots, like scissors could be like a metaphor, like as a weapon that could be used to destroy that bridge between the two. Like you see now with the Hands Across America, like they had the paper cutoffs. The scissors, could be that the weapon to divide them. What do you think about that?
It makes sense. Living to divide us.
It's a symbolism for the gun. If you think about it, arms. That's been a debate for years. Gun control, especially in the U.S. I think symbolism for that. Who knows? Well, what else do you want to talk about?
Okay.
All right, and we're back again. So let's talk about the movie Get Out. In 2017, Jordan Peele put out his first film, Get Out, star-studded film. I think it was one of the best of the year.
Agreed.
He had a lot of motifs and symbolisms and themes that had us asking questions in that film that kind of, came back to mind when the movie Us was in theaters.
Agreed.
For example, The Sunken Place. Let's talk about that for a second. Symbolism of that. I know for the sake of the film, that was where he lost all psychological consciousness and cognitive control. But let's talk more in depthly about what the sunken place really means. Like, what is the sunken place?
The sunken place is the deepest corner of our mind. The place that we're so afraid to go to. We're forced to be in solitude. Humans cannot be in solitude. They have to be out there. They gotta be with other humans. If you live in solitude, you literally go crazy. I think that's something that is the deepest part of our mind that we just don't know.
What can you say about the attachment between the sunken place and like where it was for the main character? I can't remember his name. Chris, I think his name. His name was Chris. But the sunken place. I think about it like it was a black guy and an all-white family. Can we talk about that setup in itself and how that ties into the sunken place and the other black guy that they seen at the party during the movie Get Out? That when he knew him from previous encounters, that wasn't the same type of person at all. You know,
The sunken place is prison.
mental prison.
I don't mean mental prison, it's just prison. The system by holding those people down, defining them, controlling them.
Brainwashing them.
They usually eat, drink, consume. That's why I was in the teacup. Things we consume, just little things. Things that seem so natural and shit and stuff.
Right. Sunken place. I don't know. What can you say about, as Americans, that we deal with that? And maybe that was, I don't know if that was specifically supposed to be catered to just the African community, or that concept of the sunken place was something that was supposed to be for the masses. What do you think about that? Because, like, directly watching the film, you could look at it as, like, for someone who's African American and a setting where more times than not he's going to be the minority, where he has to kind of change who he is or put on a mask or a front for that setting. And diving so deeply into that where you become that, could that be the sunken place too?
I mean, yeah, you could see some place like that. You see it in that way, I like. Yeah, honestly. I mean, think of like people been taking black men for a while.
It's very
Some
true.
centuries.
That's very
It's
true.
not new. Auctioning them off for hundreds of years. Honestly.
You're right.
Yeah. Well, we're on the subject. Do you feel like white people are so fascinated with black people? Especially when you get out, you can tell that black people are so fascinated and impressed you. Feeling on him and touching like he was like a prize, like a piece of cloth, or they're touching on him. Why do you feel white people are so fascinated with black people?
I could say for those who haven't been exposed to them geographically, where like their neighbors are white, their friends are white, everybody that they encounter is that, until one day they finally meet a black person. You know, for some of them, just something you see on TV, and I don't know why they react, and you know, as if almost like, you know, toys and, oh, can I touch your hair and stuff like that. But it's definitely something that's been going on in the U.S. for years. But
just lack of culture.
Lack of culture
in every community, every type of culture. I feel like it's just so secluded everywhere.
Oh. Yeah. But
yeah. Are black people more gifted than white people? Physically, mentally, spiritually, sexually, every way. Do you think black people are more gifted than white people?
it's a general thing to say, but you know, statistics for
Not
sure.
even being biased. You are a young black man, yeah. But not even being biased, honestly. And if you do or don't, I want to know why. So why not?
I would want to do more research before saying like, oh, but I would like to believe African Americans are more gifted than per se white people, but that's not a fair generalization to say, because there are very specially gifted, you know, white people. But yeah, that's something, you know.
Black man.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't really like all the white people that say, you know, well, if you don't like it here, just go back to your country.
Right.
Go back to where you came from. But sometimes they didn't come from there. They didn't come from Africa. The descendants came from there. black people didn't come from Africa. The descendants came from there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really, I feel like it's really ignorant for any young person to say, go back, you know, like,
No, it is. Very ignorant thing to say.
and the black man has contributed way more to society than the white man has. Honestly. And I'm just talking about just in slavery, which was a big thing because we were basically running, or not running the infrastructure, but, you know,
We built the
society,
infrastructure
we
of the
built,
U.S.
exactly, we built society.
Right.
We built the society. Not really built.
Black people. But I could say that in both films, Jordan Peele has done a remarkable job of sparking conversation, where it's making you think about real life
When you really think,
concepts that's going on within our lives every single day that sometimes we don't think about. But, you know, in the time that we step away to watch films and, you know, go out for entertainment, it's a learning experience that he's provided in both films.
yeah, and people need to be taught. A lot of people are really ignorant and arrogant.
That is very true. That is very true. And with that being said, thank you for your time. We are going to have to conclude this episode of Podcast at UMass Amherst. My name is Victor Udaji,
Nate Nasty.
and it's been a pleasure talking about Jordan Peele and his movies Get Out and Us. If you haven't already, take the time out to go watch both films. I believe Us is still in theaters. Get Out is all over the place now. It's tripping on like Amazon and different streaming services. So if you haven't, go watch the movie. Thank you for your time. Again, next time.